All right, the Carolina Panthers were the second team to make a coaching move, and it wasn't because Ron Rivera was not a good coach. Owner David Tepper, the longer he's gotten into his tenure as the Panthers owner, wants to run the team his way, and he decided to make that move and get a coaching staff in there that kind of aligns with what he wants. And he made kind of a splash hire and going out and getting Baylor's Matt Ruhle. Matt Ruhle was probably the hottest coaching candidate on the market. There's a lot of teams that really wanted him. He's turned down opportunities in the past with the Jets. That he could have had the Giants job if he wanted it. Cleveland had shown interest. The Colts had shown interest before. So it was quite the move for Tepper to go out and get Ruhle. So to be curious, Ruhle has coached in the NFL before as an assistant, as a positional coach. What he did at Temple and at Baylor was nothing short of remarkable. Temple has had some recent improvement and success under guys like Steve Adazio and Al Golden, but under Matt Ruhle, he took him kind of to that next level, and then Baylor, he was able to kind of turn that program around after they had really taken a big slide when Art Briles was let go at the end of his tenure. So it'll be curious to see how things are going to go. He made another splash hire by taking Joe Brady out of LSU. Joe Brady, widely known as the guy who reinvented the LSU passing attack. He didn't call plays for LSU, and he kind of was more of a receivers coach, passing game coordinator. But we saw the improvement in the receivers for LSU. We saw this offense modernized. Joe Burrow was able to thrive in it, and he was this hot name in coaching circles, and now he gets to run his own NFL offense with the Panthers. Before we get into scheme and all that, you have to wonder what's going to happen at quarterback. Cam Newton is there, but Cam Newton is at the end of his career. Are the Panthers going to just say, hey, let's keep Cam for a year, see what he's got, and then reevaluate it after that? Or are they going to be aggressive and go after one of the quarterbacks in this 2020 NFL draft class? A name to kind of keep an eye on is Justin Herbert. I think Herbert would fit very well in Joe Brady's scheme. Obviously Joe Burrow would fit very well in the scheme. We've seen that. There has been some rumors that the Panthers want to trade up to the number 1 overall pick to take Joe Burrow. I think that'd have to be a king's ransom to get him away from the Bengals, being an Ohio kid, but something, once again, to kind of keep an eye on. So let's look at this scheme. From what we've seen, and we haven't seen Joe Brady solely as the offensive coordinator in the NFL yet, so we kind of have to base a lot of what we think it's going to be on what we saw at LSU. And what I saw at LSU when I studied a lot of the, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, when I studied Justin Jefferson, the receiver, when I studied Joe Burrow, their quarterback, Joe Brady ran a lot of RPOs, those run-pass options. There was, it seemed to me that LSU made their hay in short throws with RPOs and then taking shots down the field. And I think you're going to see a lot of that with the Panthers. And we're seeing the RPO game be a big part of the NFL lately. And I think that fits with this team regardless of who their quarterback is. If it's Cam Newton, obviously he has that run option. You put the zone read in with Christian McCaffrey. That is not new to Cam Newton in this offense. And those timing routes, getting guys on slants. They ran a lot of slants out of the slot. You got guys like DJ Moore. You got a guy like Curtis Samuel who can create separation quickly and in space. So I think that really fits. I see both of those guys having good success in this. The second part of that is the deep shots down the field. Joe Burrow made hay, RPO type action, faking the handoff, simple play action out of that, and then taking shots down the field to Jamar Chase, Terrence Marshall, kind of bigger, speedier athletes. They don't really have that right now with the Panthers. They have, a lot of those space type guys that Scott Turner used in their offense last year. So you have to wonder with depending on what they do at quarterback, if in the middle rounds they take a guy out there that's bigger, taller, got speed, that can work down the numbers, down the sideline on those deep routes, and being able to go up and make contested catches. Do they try to find someone in free agency? Another fit with the offense is at running back. At LSU, a big part of their success was the running back Clyde Edwards-Helaire. And he was got lost a bit in the shuffle, but he was a big part of what they did, his ability to run on the perimeter, his ability as a pass catcher. And they threw the ball to him a lot. They lined him up outside. They lined him up in the slot to really take advantage of his ability to run routes. And he wasn't this elite route runner, but he was good enough. He showed burst, and he could beat linebackers in coverage. Well, the Panthers have probably the best route-running running back in the NFL in Christian McCaffrey. Heck, when Christian McCaffrey came into the draft, he didn't even do running back type drills. He basically ran receiver drills and looked damn good doing it. So he's perfect for what this offense wants to do. He can run between the tackles. He's not going to run 30 times between the tackles, but he can run between the tackles. He can run on the perimeter. You can line him up in the slot. I think he's going to be even elevated even more in this offense as just a complete chess piece. I mean, imagine, running option routes with him out of the backfield, line him up in the slot, and having some linebacker or safety try to cover him. So I think he's perfect for what Joe Brady wants to do. They need to improve their offensive line, so they could probably use another tackle. If they don't go quarterback, maybe they go after one of the tackles in this class, a Tristan Wirfs, a Jedrick Wills, those type of guys, Mekhi Becton. Would they go after one of those guys, get a true left tackle, get a true, just a stud, and just improve this offensive line? Because that is and has been a bit of an issue. Defensively, Matt Ruhle is bringing in his defensive coordinator, Phil Snow, who's with him in Baylor. Snow's been a long-time college defensive coordinator, so this is his first time in the NFL, so I'll be curious to see how he transitions there. What they want out of their defense is an athletic front seven. They want guys who can move, who can make plays. I think this defense, with what they've got, they've been a 4-3 base team, but they went to a 3-4 this year, more of a one gap. So I think that, they don't have these big hulking offensive, defensive linemen, the space eaters. They had guys like Dontari Poe and Gerald McCoy and those type of guys. So I think that kind of fits with what they want to do. They're going to give you multiple looks, multiple slants. They're going to play games up front. And then it's going to be important to see what they do at safety. Phil Snow's defenses seem to kind of almost run through the safety position. So they want guys that can play both free safety and strong safety, kind of those guys that are interchangeable. I think Eric Reed is a guy that can do that. So can they get another guy next to him? 8 might be a little early for a guy like Xavier McKinney. I think it's still a bit early for Grant Delpit. But, second round, do they target someone like that? Is a guy like Ashton Davis in the second or third round a guy that could play free or strong? Is he a possibility? But, look for them to kind of find another interchangeable safety because it seems like those are guys that they really want to feature and build their defense around.